Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I would go from 0 to 10k per month on Kajabi if I lost everything. If I had to start all over again, if I had no audience, if I had no course, if I had no email list, and I had to start all over again from scratch, I'm going to show you how I would rebuild my Kajabi business. Now, if you are new to Kajabi, if you are just getting into digital products, I have a fantastic offer for you. So with Kajabi, instead of going straight to the website and signing up for the standard 14-day free trial, if you sign up with my partner link in the description, not only do you get an extended 30-day free trial, but I will also give you access to the Holden Academy Elite package. This includes 2 of my courses. One of them will teach you how to actually use Kajabi. The second will teach you how to go from 0 to 10k per month with digital products. And I will also give you access to my insider community where you can get one-on-one access to me. You can jump on coaching calls, you can ask me questions, and I will be with you through the entire process of selling digital products. So to make 10k fast, the one thing that you really need is a valuable problem to solve. Now from this, there are 3 things that I would recommend, kind of 3 niches, and one of them is a lot more broad. But the first niche that you can go for is like business or making money online. This is like a super profitable niche. The second thing is going to be fitness. People will pay a lot of money for fitness right here, or a skill that you have. So these are the main 3 kind of niches right here. And then from these, you want to niche down a little bit further. So with business, you don't just want to teach business, right? With business, you need a sub niche. So maybe we could go for something like affiliate marketing. Maybe we could go for something like day trading. Maybe we could go for something like Amazon FBA. And each of these is going to be a sub niche, right? And this is what you want to go into, because if you just try to teach business, nobody's going to sign up because it's way too broad. The same thing with fitness. It's very difficult just to teach fitness. So instead, what we want to do instead of just teaching fitness is we could maybe go for fitness for moms that have just given birth. So you would need to align to your audience as well. Maybe you are a mom that has just given birth and you want to teach moms how to get fit again after they have given birth. Alternatively, if you are a Christian dad, you could teach Christian dads how to lose weight and how to get into shape and all of these different things. You want to niche down even further and find a group of people who are related to you. And then for skills, this can also be a super profitable one as well. So if you know how to teach the piano, if you know how to play the piano, you could go ahead and teach beginners how to play the piano. If you are really confident, you could teach people how to overcome social anxiety. If you are super productive and you have these crazy like productivity routines, you could teach people how to be more productive. So you really want to take a few minutes and think, what skills do you have? Do you know any of these businesses? Do you want to get into any of these businesses? Could you relate to people who potentially want to get fit? Or do you have a valuable skill that you could sell? So once we have the problem that we are going to fix, once we have the offer that we are going to create, the next thing that we need to do is we need to create a mini offer or a minimum viable product. Now, this is something that a lot of beginners get wrong because they'll go to Kajabi and they'll spend like weeks and weeks and weeks creating and crafting the perfect course or the perfect coaching program, and they take a long time to launch their product. This is not what we want to do, especially at the start when you don't have really an audience, when you haven't created any content yet. You can't go out there, and even if you did spend weeks and weeks and weeks to create like a $400 course, it's very unlikely that people are going to buy this because you don't have much trust, you don't have any customer testimonials, you have a small YouTube channel or a small Instagram, however you are going to promote this, and it's very unlikely people are going to spend $400 right off the bat. So the thing that you need to do as a beginner is we create a minimum viable product, which is basically a miniature version of the final product. The idea behind this is we can record this quickly, we can get this out fast, and because this is the minimum viable product, we price this at something like maybe $29 to $49, and people, especially on a smaller channel when you don't have much trust, are much more likely to pay for this. And then what we are going to do is when people start buying this, as we build up our YouTube channel, as we build up our socials, and we start getting people to buy our minimum viable product, once we start having sales coming in, we go back to this and we improve this over time. So we add new modules as we learn ourselves what our clients are struggling with, as we learn what people need to know. We can add these modules into the course, and then slowly over time, we're going to boost this price as well. So once we have added a new module, we might boost this from $49 to, let's say, $69. And then a few weeks later, we get some more people into the course. People are still buying it at this price range. We are growing our social media. We are growing our email list. Then we add a new module and we can boost this to maybe $149. So over time, we just boost the price and boost the price and boost the price. And then eventually you'll get to a price where the sales start drying up. So we just drop it back to the previous price where people were buying this. And that's how we actually go ahead and create our product. Now, in terms of what products to create, there are three main types of digital products that we can sell, which are courses, coaching, and community. And there's not necessarily one that is better than the other. Each of these have pros and cons. With a course, this takes more time upfront. So creating this, even with the minimum viable product, you might spend, let's say, 1 week actually creating this. It also has a lower perceived value because, of course, with a course, it's not as hands-on as a coaching program. They're not getting one-on-one access to you. But the upside to a course is there's essentially no delivery. So you create the course once and then you can just sell this. You don't have to deliver anything. Everything is on autopilot and all you have to do is focus on content. Now, the second thing that we have is, of course, a coaching program. And with a coaching program, there's basically no upfront time for this. We just create the coaching program. We set this up. We can do this in literally 30 minutes. But the delivery is quite substantially higher. You'll have to be jumping on calls with your clients. It can take a lot of time and you won't be able to put as much time into content. But of course, the value behind this is absolutely fantastic. People find these coaching programs very valuable, especially at the start. If you can price this for like $49 to $100, with a coaching program, you can maybe price this at $99. And especially if your content is fantastic, you'll make a lot of sales with a coaching program straight out of the gate. And then the final thing that we have is, of course, a community. This is the one that I would recommend least for beginners. And the reason for this is because if you have a small YouTube channel and you don't have many people in your community, when people join, especially because with a community, this is MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue. We want people to sign up monthly. I guess there's two ways of spinning this. Firstly, with a community, if there's not many people in there, it can lower the value of the community, but people are also going to get more access to you. So that could potentially increase this. With that being said though, communities are pretty difficult to run. You need to make sure that people are signing up, otherwise they will churn and you will lose monthly revenue. And with this, at the start, you can maybe price this at like $29 to $39. So you need to make sure people stay signed up. This is the one that I would recommend least, but for most beginners, I would recommend probably starting off with a course, but a coaching program is also not a bad idea either. So inside of Kajabi, the way that we create a course is super easy. All we do is open up Kajabi. We can go into courses right here and create a new course. For my course, in this example, I'm going to teach people how to start a freelance writing business. We can enter in a description as well. And then down here, if we turn this on, this is going to allow AI to create the modules for us. It's basically going to read what your course is in the description and create the modules with AI. I turn this off. I don't really like this. And then we can go to the next step. In here, we can then create a thumbnail image for this, and this is very important. It adds a lot of professionalism to the course, and the way that I would go about creating the thumbnail image is I would use Canva. So this is Canva right here, and to be able to use the tools that I want to show you in this video, you need to sign up for Canva Pro. I can hook you up with a 30-day free trial of Canva Pro though, using the link in the description, and then you can create this, you can just cancel, and you won't get charged. So what we can do is the one that we want to create is a YouTube thumbnail. So we just go up to create and we would type in thumbnail right here. We can go for a YouTube thumbnail. And then the awesome thing about Canva is in this design area, they have a bunch of templates that we can use. So all I would have to type in is freelance writing, as this is what I want to create. And then in here, we could potentially use this, how to start a freelance writing business, just like that. We can maybe move these up a little bit. And down here, we could say by Riley Holden. And then all we have to do is just remove this image right here. We can replace this with an image of ourselves. So I'm just going to drop in this image right here, and then we can go for background remove and remove the background, drag this up. And just like that, I now have my thumbnail created for this course. This is why I recommend Canva, because it's super simple. So then all we need to do is go ahead and download this just like that. We can then go back over and drop this thumbnail in right here. Of course, with this, we want to keep the colors. So with the buttons and links, I'll set this to white, and then the accent color we can set to orange so that it matches my thumbnail. Then we can go for next. In here, we can then price the course. So let's price this course at $39 just to start out, as this is the minimum viable product. And then in here, we can go ahead and choose these payment options. Just like that, the course is now going to be created. So in here, we can go through and we can start adding in the content. So we can click into here, and for this first module, we can say that this is module 1, the basics, save the module, and then in here, we can add in these different lessons. So I can click into this first lesson and we can say lesson 1, what is freelance writing? Click on save. We can then go down here and we can add in the video file that we would like to upload to the course. Down here, we can add in some text, we can add some downloads. And then from here, all we need to do is go back to the course, click back into this, and then we can add in all of the modules and lessons that we would like. So we can go to add content, we can add a lesson right here, and I'll call this lesson 2. How much can you make, just as an example, and then we can create a video on this by clicking in. We can then go up here to add content. We can add a new module, and we can call this module 2, signing clients, just like that. And then we can go down and add lessons to this as well. So that's how we can actually go ahead and create our minimum viable product. As I said, we just want a few modules in here. We don't need this too crazy. We don't want to spend too much time on this because all we are creating is this minimum viable product. Once we have the product created, we then want to go over to offers right here and go into our $39 offer. Down here with this free one, we can actually click in and delete this because we don't want a free offer. So we can go in and we can click on delete and just delete this free offer. And then with this, if we just click back in to the freelance writing business and go to offers once again, in the offer that we actually created with the freelance writing business right here, we want to click in and go in here to edit the checkout. So in this checkout area, we can click in and we can add the sales copy right here. We can add the checkout page. As you can see, we have $39. We can go ahead and we can add an image to this. So for the hero image, we would click in and we would upload the thumbnail that we just created. And then we can click on save, and this is going to be added at the top. So as you can see, that already looks more professional. And we would just have to go down here and just fill out this template with everything that people will get with this course. So that is the checkout page right there. And the next thing that we need to do is piece this together into a funnel and create a funnel that we are going to use to sell this. So to create a funnel on Kajabi, the best way to do this is rather than going straight into funnels right here, we want to create all of the individual pages first, and then we piece them together in the funnel. So in here, we want to go to website and click into landing pages, and we can create a new landing page right here. The first thing that we want to create, this is essentially a 3-step funnel. I'll show you this. So what we want to do is we want to create here. This is our opt-in page. And with the opt-in page, essentially what we do here is we create a lead magnet. So essentially we would give away an ebook or a guide or something like this in return for somebody's email, right? So we get their email, and then once we have their email, we can follow up with email marketing. So we take them to the opt-in page, they enter their email. Then we take them to the sales page. And this is where we are actually going to sell our offer. And then from the sales page, we take them to the checkout page. And with this, the reason that we collect people's emails is because if people go all the way here, they get to the checkout page, but they don't buy, which is some people will buy the first time, but most people won't. But we still have their email. So we can follow up with email marketing, and we can keep sending people back to the checkout page via emails. And on average, it takes people 7 times to hit a checkout page before they actually buy. So email marketing is super important. So what we want to do first of all is, as I say, we want to create our opt-in page. So we can go in here and let's say that we are giving away a free ebook. And in this video, I'm not going to go into super detail in how to actually create a lead magnet and how to make this look beautiful. I already have a video on this, and I will leave a link to that video in the description if you want to learn how to create a lead magnet. But what we can do is we can click into this right here, and I'll just call this freelance writing opt-in. We can click on create. And then in here, the awesome thing about Kajabi is this is drag and drop. So what we could say in here is enter your email below to get your free guide. Then we can change this at the bottom, all we would then do is click on this form. We would go to edit your forms, and in here we can create a form for people to enter. So for this title, we could go ahead and call this freelance writing opt-in form. We then want to change this to single opt-in, and all we want to capture is their first name and their email. So this is perfect. So we can just go ahead and click on save, go back to this page, and then down here we should now be able to see, it should be somewhere in here. Maybe we have to save and refresh, but in here we should now be able to see the freelance writing opt-in form. So we can just drop this in, we can see the first name and the email. We can then click into all of these different things and like change the color. We can go back and we can add in different images to this. So we could add an image of the ebook, and that's how we go ahead and create the opt-in page. So that is the first page. We can then save this and go back to the landing pages. The next thing that we need to create is the sales page. So we would just go down, and from here we would grab one of these sales pages. So we can go in and choose one of these. I'm going to go for streamlined sales right here. And then once again, we can edit this just by changing the text. In here, we could add like a sales video. For the call to action, we can click in and edit this. So we could maybe say the offer. We just go ahead and build out each of these pages, right? Then we can once again save this once this is all edited. And now what we want to do is piece these together into a funnel. So we would go into marketing and click into funnels, go to a new funnel, and we want to create a new one right here at the bottom. We can call this freelance writing funnel, just like this. And then as I say, because we've created these pages, all we now have to do is piece these together. So for this first one, we can just go ahead and remove this. We add a page, go to existing landing page. And the first thing that we want to add is the freelance writing opt-in. We can then save this. We want to add a new page right here. Once again, existing landing page. And we can go to the freelance writing sales page. And then finally, the last thing that we want to do is add in an offer, how to start a freelance writing business. And this is going to be the offer checkout. Once we have this funnel set up, the last thing that we have to do is set up email marketing. So we would just go into the email campaigns area, go to a new email campaign and an email sequence. And in here, we don't want to be using any of these e-com templates. We just want to go to the classic editor. And the first email that we want to send out is access to that ebook, right? So we can say welcome email for the internal title. Then for the subject, we can say, thank you, here is your free gift. And then in here, you could even use ChatGPT to write out this body, but we could say like, hey, name, thanks for signing up. Here is your free ebook, because remember they signed up for the ebook, so we would have to give them access right here. We can just go in and we can upload the file. We can write out these emails, and then all we do is click on save. We can add in new emails into this, and we go through and build out our email sequence, sending people back to this checkout page. So we give them value in the emails, send people back to the checkout page, and that's how we can create the funnel inside of Kajabi. Now, the last thing that we need to do once we have our problem, we have our offer, and we have our funnel, is of course, we need to start driving traffic to this opt-in page right here. Now, a lot of people online will tell you different ways to go about this. Should you use TikTok? Should you use Instagram? Should you use YouTube? And by far the best method for a course or a coaching program, essentially if you are an online educator, is by far YouTube. Every single time you want to go through YouTube. The reason for this is because YouTube, you can hyper target on YouTube. So what I mean by this is over on YouTube, because I'm selling like a freelance writing course, I can simply go here to this search bar and type in freelance writing, and I can see what people are actually searching. So what I would do is I would open up like a Google Sheet, and we can go through and we can create video ideas on this. So freelance writing jobs online for beginners. I would go ahead and create these videos, and then in the description of these videos, we can even see people who are doing this right now. If I click on this woman, I can almost guarantee that she's going to have some kind of course. So she has, this looks like a community. This is a Patreon exclusive content. Schedule a one-on-one freelance business coaching session. This is exactly what these top influencers are doing. So we just want to go through YouTube, freelance writing. Freelance writing on Fiverr is another fantastic option. So you just want to go through YouTube, find these videos, create this content, and then link to your course, link to your coaching program, whatever you are selling in the description. So with that being said, if you set all of this up as I show you, you do everything that I said, and you actually stay consistent with uploading your content, you can hit 10K per month a lot faster than you think. Now, if you are still watching this video at this point, when like 90% of people have already clicked off, I want to give you a super special bonus, and I want to give you my free guide to your first $1,000 online. So to claim this is completely free. All you have to do is go to the link in the description, which is called Super Simple Guide, and you can go ahead and claim that free guide. So that is how I would go from 0 to 10K per month on Kajabi. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.